What is something legal in the US that shouldn't be? Insurance companies with no licensed medical professionals deciding which medical procedures patients get to receive. HOA foreclosure. Politicians owning stock. Ticketmaster. Abuse of the public trust is a felony in Singapore. Appoint your brother-in-law to a paid political position, both of you go to prison. Health insurance not covering actual illness or medical care needed. Free trials that require credit card information. The upcharge at hospitals. $15 per Tylenol pill is ridiculous. Corporations and businesses buying all the housing. Child marriages. Insurance companies charging fortunes for medications that don't have to cost that much just so they can get their cut. Edit: I'm getting a lot of replies how this isn't entirely because of insurance companies, but more the ridiculous prices set on medical care. My point was more about how in the United States health problems can bankrupt people. Corporate lobbying. Civil asset forfeiture. Oh, we caught you doing a crime. That means we can take away any money that we found on your property because maybe you earned that money committing the crime. And we can take your car because perhaps you drove your car to the place where you committed the crime. And you were wearing that pair of sneakers when you did the crime, so we can take those too. And etc. Judges being openly political Republican or Democrats. If I am not mistaken, there is a reason why justice is depicted with a blindfold, because she shouldn't be biased by any preconceived ideas. The fact that judges in the US are openly political is shocking for people from other countries where judges are by definition apolitical, at least in principle. Eminent domain, civil asset forfeiture, and HOAs foreclosing on your house. Gerrymandering. Being over 65 and having held the same position in Senate or Congress for the majority of your life. Yes, I understand that they are voted in, but still. Term limits need to be a thing. Child marriage. Declawing and debarking. I didn't know they were legal, nor even a thing. Megachurches being tax exempt. Bribing politicians, aka lobbying. Advertising prescription drugs. Religious tax exemption. Gerrymandering. Private profit-based prisons. Lobbying and gerrymandering. For-profit prisons and for-profit healthcare. Increasing the price of delivery items and then charging a delivery fee on top of that. Scalping. Toddlers and tiaras, that is some child abuse if I ever saw it. Career politicians and politicians becoming wealthy from holding office. Also, the lifetime of benefits they receive. After seeing the most recent last week, tonight discussing absolutely insane the level of power those entities have over people. So glad my home is not in an HOA after watching that. Child marriage and making children give birth to children they don't want. All the chemicals and additives in our food in the USA. Lobbying. Why are so many comments about child marriages? This is the first I've ever heard of child marriages being a big problem in the US. For-profit prisons. Internships. How is anyone without rich parents supposed to survive a year or two doing work for free? The NFA. Politicians being allowed to trade stocks with insider information. Hospital pricing and billing. Robocalls. Not reporting child sex abuse just because you're a church. Looking at you, Mormon Church. Corporate political donations. Red Dye 40. Paparazzi taking photos of children. Or paparazzi in general tbh. Paying for politicians. Child beauty pageants. Cops shouldn't be able to lie during an interrogation. Commercials and advertisements for medication. In most countries, marketing prescription drugs isn't legal. It's so strange. High fructose corn syrup in everything. Lobbyists. For-profit prison companies. Insurance companies doubling your rates for filing a claim. Much of what health insurance companies do. Our tax system. So many countries do it infinitely better than us, but a certain company pays to keep the problem in place. Insider trading. Insurance companies telling you no to life-saving medications. Those bloody LED headlights that completely blind you. The price of life-saving and other necessary medications. Running for president after age 70. Child marriages. Banks companies profiting off of student loans. Cap loans at 1 interest. Lobbying. Around 75% of the processed foods sold in bulk. Religious arguments in politics. Profits being made on healthcare. Using photos video of your children to earn a living. Squatters' rights. The IRS W-2 scheme. At the beginning of each year, you need to figure out how much you owe us. We already know how much you owe, but doesn't fucking matter. Get the numbers right and sent through, otherwise you're going to fucking prison for fraud. Eat shit and fuck you, citizen. I horndogged your mom last night to the IRS. Advertising pharmaceuticals. Robocalls. We used to be able to be on a do not call registry and report abusers. Now, we get calls that look local. Every friggin' day. Businesses being seen at people in the eyes of the law. I forget what ruling that was. Payday loans. Haven't seen this one mentioned, so here it is. And it's probably even by partially achievable. Profit-based healthcare. Politicians lying. Drug ads on TV. Most Americans barely have any medical skills or education, but they are supposed to tell their doctor which drugs to use. Somebody whose idea of research is watching YouTube videos or listening to a screaming head on phone news thinks they know more than a doctor. Gerrymandering. Red dye on meat. Being able to point a video camera into your neighbor's backyard and film their kids swimming. Completely legal and completely screwed up. Being anti-American and trying to erase the Bill of Rights. I'm extremely surprised the top response isn't lobbying. Prescription medication ads and junk mail. I'm dumb as hell, but whatever makes it so I work 6 days a week to support my family, but we get nowhere while the people that got there sooner think they're better than us and actively vote to make it harder while clearly slacking at work because they've been there a few years longer and feel entitled to call me lazy because apparently they know work ethic beyond the realm of human understanding, but they can't complete a sentence, while I do both our jobs for half the pay and they have all this spare time to fall down rabbit holes and spread the brainworms and piss me off. Fix that, please. Corporate personhood. Allowing corporations to lobby politicians by paying them millions of dollars to affect what legislation is or isn't approved. Fucking legalized corruption. Corporations qualifying as people. Conversion therapy. Exotic animal ownership. There is no effing reason anyone should be able to own a monkey, a tiger, a panther,